Ladies and gentlemen, this story comes out of a place called Bel Air, Maryland. I get tongue tied. Bel Air, Maryland. We don't really get a lot of stories out of there. Maryland is a pretty small state compared to the rest of our states, but nonetheless, very tragic story. And what you guys are looking at, if I could try to explain this the best way that I can, this story involves a boyfriend who was the boyfriend of a woman who is the aunt of this child, who was the legal guardian, the legal caretaker of this child, which means that this child was not in the possession of her sister or her biological mother or father. How crazy is that just to start out? But before we go deep into this, let me give y'all the disclaimer real quick that you might find my content offensive and controversial. This video comes from many different sources. And I'm also going to give my opinion about the facts of this story. The point of this is to try to prevent this type of behavior going forward. Viewer discretion is advised, and that is your official disclaimer. So pause it right there if you need to read the rest of that stuff. Sad that I even have to do that. But nonetheless, a 42-year-old man in Maryland this week was arrested for allegedly beating a 3-year-old girl to death in his Baltimore home. So Baltimore. Yeah, I said we don't get a lot of stories out of Maryland, but actually we do out of Baltimore. I tend to forget about that, but, you know, let's keep going. Beating a 3-year-old girl to death in his Baltimore home and trying to pin the horrific attack on her 9-year-old brother, law enforcement authorities said. And I'm getting this story from lawandcrime.com. Again, thank you for the article. Randolph J. Mack. Let me see if I can get a solo picture of him. That's him. He is now facing a slew of felony charges in connection with the death of young Maria Barlow, who was 3 years old. This baby was 3 years old. Including 1 count each of first-degree murder, second-degree murder, and first-degree child abuse resulting in the death of a child under the age of 13 years old. According to the Hartford County Sheriff's Office, patrol deputies from the Southern Precinct on the evening of June the 3rd, not that long ago, that was only, 13 days ago, responded to a 911 call about a child in cardiac arrest at a home located in the 12,000 block of Ashmead Square. Emergency medical services, EMS, personnel were already on the scene and attempting life-saving procedures when the deputies arrived and located the child in the living room. The deputies provided assistance to the EMS as they responded to transport the child to Upper Chesapeake Medical Center. Upon arriving at the facility at approximately 1:58 p.m., the hospital's medical staff pronounced that the young girl had passed away, so she did not survive. But I'm going to tell y'all, we're going to give you guys some details that are probably going to rock you to the core. Medics and medical staff advised the deputies that the juvenile had suspicious bruising on her body that would be consistent with child abuse. It's a very detectable thing if you just catch the signs. The child's body was then transported to the office of the chief medical examiner for an autopsy to determine the manner and cause of death. Detectives with the HCSO Criminal Investigation Division, that's a long title, began investigating the circumstances of the girl's death, canvassing the area to identify witnesses, suspects, and a possible motive. Investigators with the HCSO Forensic Services Unit also responded to the area where they collected and preserved physical evidence. I would never be able to read that sentence properly. I couldn't do that again if I tried. Investigators soon identified that dude as a prime suspect in the assault on the girl. He was taken into custody and booked at the Hartford County Detention Center, where he's being held without bond, court records show. Now, the Hartford County Sheriff, Jerry Goller, provided additional details concerning the alleged murder to Baltimore ABC affiliate WMAR-TV, specifically Mac's attempt to pin Maria's death on her older brother, which I think that is... You just don't get much dumber than that. And you really... I think that just makes him just more of an asshole, in my opinion. Goller said that prior to the alleged assault, that guy that you can see on my screen there on the right-hand side initially took Maria into the bathroom to talk about her having a accident. She wet her pants when the interaction turned violent. She's 3 years old. How do you get violent with a 3-year-old? Can anybody explain or give me an excuse for that? How do you get violent with a 3-year-old baby? Where does violence come into play in that? Do you not understand that she's a baby? Babies have accidents. Babies are learning. Babies don't know everything. You just can't be that level of dumb. Maybe some people are that level of dumb. It turned violent. After the alleged assault, police said Matt convinced Maria's aunt to help him convince the authorities that Maria's brother was responsible for the girl's injuries. Isn't that something? The aunt finally called 911 more than 7 hours after the alleged attack occurred and suggested that the 9-year-old boy committed the crime. This is why I like how the laws are starting to change, because they are now arresting her and charging her as well, which is great. I'll get to that here in a moment. Under questioning from detectives, the aunt, whose name was not reported, I'll give her name here in just a moment, allegedly confessed to lying about the 9-year-old's involvement. So they're gonna blame this on the kids. Go kill the kids and then blame the kids because anyway, the suspects, were working on trying to get an alibi and trying to get another child in the home to kind of take responsibility for the actions that Mac had done. And there is no doubt in this case that Mac is responsible for the physical injuries that this younger child suffered that cost her her life. To an adult, again, you can't use the word other than monster who would inflict such damage on a child and then let that child sit there unattended for a period of time before summoning medical help. Then make up a story and then to put the blame elsewhere, that is just not human. To me, that is so inhumane, I call it a monster. Well said. Well said. Maria was reportedly less than a week away from celebrating her 4th birthday. In addition to the aforementioned charges, Mac is also facing one count each of first-degree child abuse causing severe physical injury, first-degree assault, second-degree assault, and he is scheduled to appear before a preliminary court on June the 30th, which is here in what? Not that long from now. Let me see what day of the week is that. That is 2 weeks. It's actually 2 weeks from today, so it'll be on a Thursday. In the Hartford District Court, the sheriff's office did not immediately respond to a message from Law and Crime. Nonetheless, let me give you guys the second portion of this article, which deals with, well, not this article, but a different article that deals with this woman. That's the aunt who lied. So the aunt, and I'm getting this from Patch, PATCH.com. So thank you, Patch, for this particular article. The aunt, this woman, of a child killed in Bell Camp was arrested on what would have been the girl's 4th birthday, according to Hartford County Sheriff's Office. Maria Llewellyn Barlow died on Friday night at the age of 3, officials said. Her aunt and legal guardian, let me see if I can get her face back up here. This woman, the aunt and legal guardian, Barbara Ann Mumpower, which is Mumpower. What a hell of a name. Mumpower. 41 years old. Of the 1200 block of Ashmead Square, Bell Camp, faces 5 charges in connection with the girl's death, according to court records. First-degree murder, conspiracy to commit child abuse resulting in death, neglect of a minor, first-degree child abuse causing severe injury, and accessory after the fact to murder. I think they got this right. I think they got this perfectly right pertaining to the charges. Because she saw it, she saw something, didn't say anything, and then lied. because she cared more about her boyfriend than a beautiful little 3-year-old girl that needed an advocate, that needed a parent, that needed somebody to give a shit. Mumpower was arrested on Wednesday, June the 8th, which is the day that officials say that Maria would have turned 4 years old. The Belcamp woman is being held with no bail. None. Good job. At the Hartford County Detention Center and has a bail review hearing in Hartford County District Court at 1:30 p.m. on Thursday, June the 9th. Investigators say that they found a pattern of child abuse dating back to January the 4th involving Mumpower and her boyfriend, Randolph James Max, who is 43 years old, of Essex. Mack was identified on Saturday as the suspect in the death of the child and has been charged with first-degree murder, second-degree murder, first-degree assault, second-degree assault, first-degree child abuse causing severe injury, and first-degree child abuse causing death. Maria had a fractured rib and may have been strangled, according to WMAR, which reported Mack had taken her into a bathroom regarding wetting her pants before the deadly interaction occurred. Afterward, the news station said that Mumpower waited almost 8 hours before calling 911, and she told them that the girl's brother was responsible. Of course, she lied and admitted later on that she lied about that, from my understanding. I think that's what it was, but she later pointed authorities to Mack. Mack was denied bail at a hearing on Monday in Hartford County District Court, and he's being held at the Hartford County Detention Center. Let me give you guys the fair usage. It's just really, really sad. Give me just a moment. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. If you guys are watching this particular story, I need you guys to make sure and click that thumbs up, share the memory of this baby, and share this story. And again, I think this is where they get this right, because this woman lied. She should get just as much time in prison as him. If not, at least if he gets a life sentence, give her half of that. And I think that would at least be justice on behalf of this deceased baby. But we definitely got to start doing that a lot more. Okay? So if people lie, they need to fry. You got that? Let's get it.
The Georgia Bureau of Investigation put out an Amber Alert early Sunday morning in hopes of finding a missing girl, 1-year-old Jakari Bennett. Sadly, an hour later, they confirmed that she had died. Jakari was abducted by her father, 38
with the murder of her 3-year-old niece. Barbara Mumpower was arrested and charged with murder, assault, and child abuse. Her boyfriend, Randolph Mack, was arrested earlier this week for the murder. Friday night, medics responded to a home on Ashmead Square in Belcamp where they unsuccessfully tried to revive little Maria Barlow. The Hartford County Sheriff's Office says she died from abuse. Joining us tonight at 7, I'm Kelly Swoop. Tonight, we learned the chilling details behind a 3-year-old girl's murder in Hartford County. The abuse and efforts to shift the blame to her older brother. WMER 2 News' Jeff Hager has more now on what happened.
By the time medics arrived at the house on Ashmead Square in Belcamp late Friday, it would be too late to save the life of 3-year-old Maria Barlow.
Unfortunately, the young child was pronounced deceased upon arrival at Upper Chesapeake Hospital, and through the investigation, there were signs brought to medical staff brought to attention. Signs of abuse were apparent, obvious.
Investigators arrested 42-year-old Randolph Mack of Essex, who had allegedly taken the young girl into a bathroom to talk about her wetting her pants when things turned physical. Court records suggest Maria had suffered damage to internal organs, a fractured rib, and possible strangulation. Nearly 8 hours after Maria was assaulted, her aunt called 911 to report that the little girl was in cardiac arrest, and she claimed that she feared that her 9-year-old brother was the one who had attacked her. She later confessed that Mack had asked her to shift the blame to Maria's sibling, and she only called 911 after he had left the house.
To know an adult, again, you can't use a word other than a monster who would inflict such damage on a child and then let that child sit there unattended for a period of time before summoning medical help, and then try to make up a story and put the blame elsewhere. That's not human. To me, that's just so inhumane. I call it a monster.
Since the young girl's death, police have received an additional report of abuse involving another alleged victim, and they fear others may be out there that they're encouraging to step forward. Maria's death came less than a week before she would have celebrated her 4th birthday. In Harford County, Jeff Hager, WMAR 2 News.
A big important element in this story that we have to talk about is where the failure lies in this baby's lost life. The blame has to start with the biological mother and biological father, which is not either one of these two individuals. Because you would have to ask, why were they not building a solid foundation for this little girl before they had her? Why did they not have this child under their roof, living together, providing for her? You would also have to ask, why did they either not have custody, give up custody, or lose custody of this child? And then the baby ends up with the sister, the aunt. And why would you take custody of a child that you clearly don't love, you clearly don't care about, and you clearly loved your boyfriend more than your own DNA tie to this beautiful little girl? I don't understand how you could look at a beautiful little girl like that and just be like, I'd rather save my boyfriend's ass because he did something stupid. And then you wait 7 hours? What's the excuse for that? Anybody want to make an excuse for that? Because I won't. What two horrible individuals. If you can't handle children, why would you even agree to take them into your household? I'm assuming these two idiots live together. Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Right? You know why they took this child in? Somebody in the chat just said it. You'll see it roll across my screen here in just a second. And that is called Babies for Benefits. The only reason they brought this child into their household, more than likely, was because they were trying to get benefits off of that child. If people want to turn around and say, well, the aunt was trying to help. No, she wasn't. Because you can clearly tell. I have to judge people off of their actions, okay? And if you're going to tell me that you love me, imagine if y'all were in a relationship. You're going to tell me that you love me. If a woman tells me she loves me, I'm going to see it in her actions, right? How many of you ladies out there are in a relationship with a man and that man tells you love him? Are you going to care more about the words that he says, or are you going to care about how he treats you, how he behaves, how he talks to you? His actions should matter more than his words. So I judge love the same way. So if you're going to tell me that this aunt took this child into her house out of love, I say that's bullshit. I say that she took this child into her household because she was trying to collect some type of benefits off of this kid. I don't know whether we're food stamps. I don't know whether we're housing. I don't know whether she's getting a stipend, a paycheck from the state to take care of this child or some type of child support. I don't have any idea. I don't know that. I don't know. But what I can say is that their actions were highly negligible. You know what your boyfriend did. He asked you to lie and your dumb ass did it. For what? What was so impressive about him? You couldn't find no more penis out there, ma'am? Huh? No other man wanted you? I just don't get how you excuse that. It should never be excused. Like I said, if they give him life in prison, give her half of that sentence. I'd say 50, 60, 70 years in prison. That'd be good enough for lying on that baby and then trying to blame the brother. The fact that is going to come out in the news at some point when he grows up, I'm sure that's probably going to probably mess with him emotionally. And I hope it doesn't mess that child up. And I hope that little boy can end up in a household where he can grow up and become something great. But I hope he doesn't hold that grudge with him in his heart, to know that somebody tried to blame him for something that he was not responsible for. These children need real advocates, man. And we got to only take children in when we are prepared to take care of them, especially when it comes to foster parents. A situation like this, they didn't love these kids. So we got to stop taking advantage of the kids. Okay? If you're not going to jump in this war and help these kids, then damn it, just sit on the sidelines. That's all I got to say about that. We're the AFC, the advocates for children. We're going to continue to keep giving these babies a voice. To that princess, let me see if I can get her picture back up here. She's a beautiful little girl. Young princess, R.I.P. She deserves so much better, man. But leave your comments in the comment section. If I said something wrong, left something out, you got something to add to it, type a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you.